Audiobooks aren't reading. If you think audiobooks don't count as real reading, you might be forgetting how stories actually began. Before books ever existed, stories were told orally in every culture across the world. Oral storytelling was the first form of literature. Before the printing press, written literature was a privilege. In India alone, women and Dalits were excluded from this tradition by the Brahminical class. All they had was oral storytelling. In mid 15th century came Gutenberg's press. However, it was in 19th century Britain that the penny dreadfuls were introduced. Sensational horror, crime, or adventure stories which were published weekly and sold for a penny. This is where reading becomes for pleasure and not just for knowledge. In the 1930s came the mass market paperbacks. Small, portable, affordable, cheap pulp paper, and widely available. Finally, dismissing audiobooks isn't just literary elitism, it's also ableism. Not everyone can physically read a book. People may have visual impairments. They may have chronic pain. They may have neurodivergence like dyslexia or ADHD. They may be an overworked student or a multitasking parent. I, for one, have chronic migraine, which affects my optic nerves, which makes it kind of difficult for me to always read visually. Someone saying that audiobooks don't count as reading is essentially gatekeeping literature, much like the elites have done for centuries before. Audiobooks harken back to the centuries long tradition of oral storytelling. In fact, it can be an extremely immersive experience. So the next time somebody tells you that reading an audiobook or listening to an audiobook doesn't count as reading, send them this reel and tell me whether or not you agree with me.